Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. Glad you're with us today. What we're going to talk about today, it's a fun one today. We're going to talk about problems, health problems that sneak up on you as you get older. So if you're new to the show, the way this works is I'm going to talk for 24 minutes. You will listen on whatever platform you're on, and any health questions you might have, type it in your communication to us. My producers, Garrett and John, will then read me the questions at the 24-minute break. I will then answer your health questions. Then we do another 24-minute segment, and then I answer more questions. Do me a favor. If you're listening live, put in hashtag live. If you're listening on a replay, put in hashtag replay. And also, if you would, put in where you're from. I like to know what parts of the world people are listening from. It's just kind of fun. So hashtag live, hashtag replay, where you're from. I appreciate that. Write in your questions on the platform, and I'll answer them for you at the break. It's a great opportunity to get your health questions answered that you may not get anywhere else. So this is a wonderful opportunity. And share this link. Spread it out to all your contacts, because our goal is to naturally get you well and keep you well. We want to do everything we can to get you healthy. So if the gentlemen are ready? Ready? Okay, here we go. Hey folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. I am so glad that you're with me today. What we're going to talk about today are health problems that sneak up on you. Now, I was going to say that health problems that sneak up on you after age 50, but I've been in practice a long time, almost 39 years, and I see that a lot of these problems, when I first got in practice, happened to old people. Now they're happening to young people. So I'm not going to call it problems that sneak up to you after 50. It's problems that sneak up on you. Now, more than 9 out of 10 older adults have some type of chronic disease. Almost everybody has something wrong with them health-wise. And 8 in 10 have more than one. High blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, emotional issues, erectile issues, brain function, Alzheimer's. So chances are, if you're statistically part of that group, which you are, you're going to get one or more of them. I don't want you to be part of that group. I want you to not get that. I want you to be the 1 in 10 that stays healthy. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So there's a lot of things you can do to stay healthy and live a long, happy, healthy life. So, surprising causes of high blood pressure. Let's start there. The number one medication that I see people taking is blood pressure medication. The number 2 medication I see people taking is cholesterol. Now, it's interesting, if you look at the research, that people that have high cholesterol have a lower rate of Alzheimer's. So our big thing for years has been, let's lower cholesterol. And I'm not saying that's wrong. But when you have high cholesterol, something's wrong. Your body has raised the cholesterol for some reason. My goal is to find out why you have high cholesterol. Maybe your liver isn't working as well as it should. I'm going to get to blood pressure in a second. Your liver recycles cholesterol. So liver produces cholesterol, sends it out into the blood. It gets used for hormones and cell walls and everything else. And whatever left over gets recycled. Sometimes the recycling bins are filled. If the recycling bins are filled, you can't recycle cholesterol, and then cholesterol goes up. So maybe it's not that you have high cholesterol. It's that your recycling bins are clogged. And we just have to unclog your recycling bin. And many times that helps lower cholesterol. We do that by cleaning out the liver. It could be, it's not the cholesterol that's floating around in the blood that's necessarily bad. It's the cholesterol that's stuck to the artery walls. So speaking to cardiologists and reading research from cardiologists, many times people have heart attacks, they have normal cholesterol levels. And that's baffling. It's like, wait a minute, high cholesterol is bad, but people have normal cholesterol, they have heart attacks. It wasn't the cholesterol that was the problem. It was the trauma to the blood vessels. And then the blood vessels are traumatized. The body lays down cholesterol like a scab and makes the artery walls thicker so that they're less likely to burst because of high blood pressure, causing pressure on the arteries, or because of stress, or because of dehydration. And so it's really the cholesterol that's stuck to the artery walls that's bad, not necessarily the cholesterol floating around in the blood. If it's high in the blood, we still need to find out why. But I recommend you do something called an A1C test. A1C tests how much inflammation there is in the body, and that kind of is a lot of things can cause it, but it could be help determine how much cholesterol is stuck to the artery walls. And so when we start looking at this, it's like it's not just A equal B equals C. You got to start looking at these other variables. So blood pressure, of course, can put pressure on the blood vessels, and the body has to lay down cholesterol to make the blood vessels thicker. So what can we do to lower blood pressure? Now, we know salt can raise your blood pressure. Everyone's told that. Cut down on your salt. You have high blood pressure. But do you know that sugar can raise your blood pressure as well? Now, sugar can also adversely affect something called nitric oxide production. So nitric oxide is a gas that's produced by your blood vessels, and it causes the blood vessels to relax and open up so that the blood can flow smoothly through. As we get older, our nitric oxide levels naturally just drop. It's part of the aging process. But if you're not giving your body the nutrients that it needs to produce nitric oxide, you got a double whammy. You got age going on, and you're not getting the nutrients that you need to produce nitric oxide to open up the blood vessels. So sugar can prevent you from properly producing nitric oxide, and that can then cause the blood pressure to stay high. So I don't want you to just cut out salt. I want you to cut out sugar. Now, I don't want you to cut out salt. I'm going to take that statement back. I want you to use a different type of salt. I want you to use something called air-dried sea salt, Celtic salt, black salt, Himalayan salt. These salts have over 70 different minerals in them, not just sodium chloride. White table salt is sodium chloride. That's junk. Don't ever use that again. But even if you're using natural salts, many times it's not that you have too much sodium, you don't have enough potassium. Potassium is really important, and so many people, majority of people in America certainly, are depleted in potassium. So here's a trick I want you to do that's going to save you a lot of time and aggravation, hopefully help lower that blood pressure. Whatever salt you're using, air-dried sea salt, Celtic salt, whatever it is, I want you to use 2/3 air-dried sea salt, or whatever it is, and 1/3 potassium chloride. Now, you can buy potassium chloride in the grocery store. It's pretty cheap. It's right where the salt is, right in the salt section. And I want you to mix your salts together, potassium chloride and then your whatever salt you're using. A, you're not going to notice the difference in flavor. B, you're going to get potassium, which then can help lower your blood pressure. How cool is that? Quick, easy, simple, cheap way that isn't going to change your life hardly at all. You just have to mix your salts together. Nice and simple. So nitric oxide can be a problem. Sugar can help prevent the body from producing proper nitric oxide. And so I want you to cut back your sugar and your salt. Another thing that I find, and I've been in practice coming up on 40 years now, I've been seeing patients, is that it's a digestive problem. Now, there's a nerve, and it's called the vagus nerve, V-A-G-U-S. And the vagus nerve runs down from your brain and controls your digestive system. Your digestive system is so specialized that it has its own nervous system. You have your brain, your spinal cord. That's called the central nervous system. You have the nerves that come out of the spine that go out to the arms and the legs. That's called the peripheral nervous system. But your digestive system has something called the enteric nervous system. The enteric nervous system is a separate nervous system connected to the other ones. And the main connection, it's connected in many ways, is through the vagus nerve, V-A-G-U-S. Now, if the digestive system isn't working properly, if you have gas, bloating, diarrhea, heartburn, acid reflux, constipation, you're irritating the enteric nervous system and irritating the vagus nerve. Follow that neurology right there? When the vagus nerve is irritated, it also controls some of the heart. It causes the heart to beat harder or faster than it's supposed to. And so if you have an enteric nervous system issue, digestive system issue, it can affect the vagus nerve, which can affect the heart, which can raise your blood pressure. And I've had countless people over the years come to me and taking blood pressure medication, or literally countless. I don't know how many. It's been so many. And I say, do you have any digestive problems? I have a heartburn, acid reflux, burping, gas, diarrhea, constipation, whatever it is. And I say, let me see if we can fix the digestive system and take the stress off the vagus nerve to see if the heart can beat right. And when we do, almost inevitably, the blood pressure drops. And the most common one I see is heartburn, acid reflux. The stomach, which sits below the diaphragm, can push up into the diaphragm. And that might cause burping or gas or heartburn, acid reflux, gastroesophageal reflux disease, kind of all the same thing. And we can take the stomach and gently massage it or pull it down away from the diaphragm. And when we do, we take the stress off the vagus nerve, and the blood pressure drops. How did I learn that? That's a pretty intricate thing, isn't it? When I was a kid, I remember some of the earliest memories of my life laying in my bed in Hoboken, New Jersey, as a child, as a toddler almost. And my heart would race, and then it would stop. and then it would beat really, really, really hard, and then it would stop again. And I thought everybody did this because you're a kid. You don't have anything compared to. And for years, I had this rapid heart rate, and then it would stop, and then it would increase again, and it was really weird. And one day, maybe 30 years ago, I remember I was in my second treatment room in my office, and I was just about to adjust a patient, and this light bulb came on in my head. I wonder if my digestive system was causing this irregular heartbeat. And I did the research. Sure enough, I was right. And I grabbed one of my interns at the time, and I said, I want you to massage my stomach. And it eventually evolved into an adjustment, which I learned before, but I never really put it all together. And I pulled my stomach away from the diaphragm. I've never had the rapid heart rate again, ever. Now, for me, it was one shot and done. Now, I still get my stomach checked periodically, because every now and then it has a tendency to slide back up again. But if you have digestive issues, chances are very good that it's affecting your blood pressure issues. Chances are very good it's related, if not caused by, your digestive system. How cool is that? And the other thing that can cause blood pressure issues, and there's a lot of them, but I won't go into everything for this, is dehydration. Most of us just don't drink enough water. Now, when you're dehydrated, your body releases hormones that can cause your blood vessels to constrict, which can lead to increase in blood pressure. So make sure you're drinking enough water. If you're not drinking enough water, you got to do it. How much water is enough? When you pee, your pee should be clear. And if your pee is clear, you're in good shape. Now, if you're taking B vitamins, it can be yellow. That's fine. But if your pee is cloudy, if you pee in a clear glass and you look at it, it should be relatively clear. If it's cloudy, if it has a lot of things floating around in it, if it's brown, we might have a problem going on. So my recommendation is this, and it's a great way to start your day too, is when you get up in the morning, have 2 big glasses of water, 8 ounces, 10 ounces, 2 of them. Then start your day. Watch what happens. One of the things that's going to happen is chances are you're going to start to drink a lot less coffee. Because you drink coffee many times because you're dehydrated, which makes you tired, so you're drinking coffee to wake up. All you got to do, drink 2 glasses of water. That starts your day. And then throughout the day, make sure I drink tea. I like herbal tea, so I'll have 3 or 4 more glasses of that, and you should be good. Now, if you wake up and pee a lot at night, I'd stop drinking about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. This way I have time to get all the water out of my system so I can make it through the night. Happens when you get older. You'll see. So those are just some things that can happen with high blood pressure. Instead of just surrendering and saying, I have high blood pressure, there's nothing else I can do, let's try some things. Let's assume just for a second that I'm wrong. It's not a digestive problem. It's not sugar and salt and nitric oxide issues. It's not dehydration. So what? I'm wrong. You cut out your salt and your sugar. You got your digestive system fixed. You drank more water. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if it does work, which it probably will, then you'll say, that's all I had to do? Yeah. Most patients come to my office and say, Dr. Joe, I want to come off my medication. I say, I can't tell you to come off your medication, but I can show you how to get well enough so hopefully you don't need it. And that's my approach. I want to teach you how to get well and stay well, so hopefully you won't need it in the future. Now, there's other things too. Pinched nerves. Chiropractic care many times can help lower blood pressure. So that's why when patients come in, we check their spine, we check their diet, we check their digestive system, we look at what they're drinking, and then we try to put together a protocol specifically for you. So if you're just tuning in, folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. What we're talking about today is health problems that can sneak up on you. And many times people go to the doctor and they get their blood pressure taken. Doctor says, you have high blood pressure. Well, I didn't see any symptoms. They call it the silent killer. Well, yeah, let's fix it so it isn't a silent killer. Another problem that I see people have is diabetes, blood sugar issues. So patients will come to me and they'll say, I always ask what blood medications they're on. Diabetes, high blood pressure, of course, diabetes, and cholesterol, the 3 biggies. So let's talk about some things that might help stabilize blood sugar. Not treating diabetes, stabilizing your blood sugar so then you don't have diabetes. It's not semantics. It's actually getting to the cause. Omega-3 fatty acids are really good for diabetes. Omega-3 fatty acids have been shown to help people control their weight and their blood sugar. Now, there's 3 types of omega-3s that most people take: fish oil, krill oil, or algae oil. Fish oil, you run the risk of mercury or heavy metal contamination. It's not in the proper form to be absorbed. It has to be in something called a phospholipid form, and it's not. And fish oil oftentimes goes rancid. I take fish oil off the list. Krill oil, Krill, is a better choice. Krill oil, very low risk of mercury contamination. It's in the right proper phospholipid form. And so that's a way better choice. But it's still not the best choice. The best choice, in my opinion, is algae oil. Krill and fish don't make omega-3 fatty acids. They get it from eating algae. Algae is the purest form of omega-3 fatty acids. So that's why I recommend, if you're going to take an omega-3 acid, take the best. Algae oil is my favorite, okay? My grandfather, my German grandfather, taught me years ago. He says, always buy the best. It's always cheaper. And so that's why I take algae oil every day. And it does a lot of other things, too. It helps with inflammation, helps with brain function. Algae oil is so important. Omega-3 fatty acids are. So that's the one I take. Another thing that might help with blood sugar is fiber. Because what happens is when you eat sugar, let's assume it's a glass of orange juice or it's a candy bar. The sugar gets in your colon and it gets absorbed in a lot of different places. Fiber does several things. Fiber, one thing does is it wraps around some of the sugar and pushes it through so it doesn't get absorbed. Number two, it blocks up your receptor sites so you don't absorb as much sugar. So a high fiber diet is key to stabilizing blood sugar. And if you're eating a high fiber diet, which is plants, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, chances are you're not eating a lot of other junk. So not only do you have the fiber as a benefit, you're avoiding the bad stuff. How easy is that? So think about that. Eat more fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. One of the easiest way to bring your blood sugar back down to normal is drink more water. I know we just talked about water for blood pressure. Works for diabetes too. 6 to 8 glasses of filtered water a day usually does people pretty well. And again, I drink mine before 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so I don't have to get up and pee all night. Now, I said filtered water. And the reason I say that is tap water is an option. But tap water oftentimes has chlorine in it. And chlorine is good. It kills bacteria, germs, viruses. It helps make the water drinkable and certainly doesn't kill you. But chlorine acts as an antibiotic. Chlorine can kill off the good bacteria in your colon and the bad bacteria. And we don't want to do that because so many people have compromised digestive systems. Remember we talked about blood pressure a few minutes ago? And we want to get the digestive system working properly. So if we can get you off that chlorine and get a good filtered water. Now, I have a whole house filter in my house. They're not cheap. A good one's going to cost you about $2,000 or more, but it's worth it. Because, A, you're not buying a bunch of water, which I think is ridiculous. And number two, every drop of water in my house is purified. I bathe, I take showers, I drink, I wash my clothes in it, I wash my food in it. Everything is purified water. So to me, that's an investment well worth it. Because it also can have fluorine in it, and it can have drug residuals. So, for example, if you're taking blood pressure medication, diabetes medication, you process some of it, it gets used in the body, some of it gets passed out in your waste. Goes into a recycling center, the wastewater is recycled, and then it goes back into people's houses. So we have filters that can filter out viruses, germs, bacteria, things like this. We don't really have filters in these recycling centers to filter out medications. So even though it's an extremely small dose that you might be getting if you're drinking my recycled water, because I took blood pressure medication, it's not something I want in my body, and especially not for children, because the dosages are different for children. So I do recommend a whole house water filter. So what we're talking today, if you're just joining us, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. We're talking today about health problems that sneak up on you. You don't know where they came from. All of a sudden I have diabetes, I have blood pressure. You don't have it. You did something that caused it. There's a difference. Now, sometimes it's genetics, but rarely. It's almost always lifestyle. So, folks, a lot of people ask me when I do these shows, these podcasts, and these lectures, and I've been doing it for 40 years now. People say, Dr. Joe, I would like to become your patient. I would like to come see you because, of course, we do chiropractic work, we do nutritional work, we do digestive work. We have a medical doctor on staff. We can do erectile dysfunction treatments, acoustic wave therapy with joints that are wearing out to help regenerate some of the tissue in there. If you'd like to make an appointment, go to my website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. In the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. We want to be your doctors. We want to get to the cause of your healthcare problem and not just treat the symptoms. It's okay to treat the symptoms. We want to treat the cause, so hopefully you don't have to treat the symptoms. Normally, the first visit is $940. For our listeners, we've reduced that to $299. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays, and a complete nutrition evaluation. Folks, if you're serious about wanting to get well, whether it's neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, headaches, if you're in a car accident, a sports injury, you want to get a second opinion before surgery, you have digestive issues that we just can't get to the cause of, come see us. drjoe.com. We would love that opportunity to be your doctors. We accept most insurances, and if you're ever in a car accident, folks, if the car is damaged, you're damaged. I've never seen it any other way. So please come see us as quickly as possible. You might get scam phone calls from doctors and lawyers if you're in a car accident. Hey, come see us. We're going to set you up. It's all a scam. No one is ever going to call you to set up an appointment. They stole your information off the website, off the police website, and they're calling you from your police report. Don't fall for it. drjoe.com. Bring yourself, bring your friends, bring your children so we can get you well and keep you well. Now, what we're talking about today are health problems that sneak up on you. I want to talk about heart disease because heart disease is very common. In fact, every 20 seconds, somebody has a heart attack in this country. Think how many people have had heart attacks since you started listening to this. A lot. One of the big problems I find with heart disease is tooth infections. What's a tooth infection have to do with a heart? The same membrane that covers your gums covers your heart. It's all one big membrane. So if you get an infection in your tooth, it can work its way into your heart. So if you have cavities, if you have gum disease, if you have pain in your teeth, get to the dentist immediately. It's not a chiropractic case. It's probably not a nutrition case. You need a dentist to work on it. So get to your dentist right away because that can be a serious problem. That's why if you have a heart condition, they always say go to the dentist before you have heart surgery or heart treatment because of that same membrane. If there's an infection here, it can go into the heart. Another thing that can affect the heart is sleep apnea. Now, sleep apnea can lead to heart problems, and it's when somebody stops breathing when they're asleep. Now, my father had this, and I was away at college. I came home, and I realized he was taking a nap, and he was gasping for air. So I realized what happened with him is his stomach had pushed up into his diaphragm. We talked about that earlier with high blood pressure. So I massaged and pulled his stomach down away from the diaphragm, and he was able to sleep better. And a lot of patients with sleep apnea, when we adjust their stomach, the sleep apnea goes away. So if you have sleep apnea and then you have heartburn, acid reflux, burping, gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, consider that might be the cause. So pinched nerves can do it too. The fourth cervical nerve is called the phrenic nerve. That nerve controls your diaphragm. Your diaphragm is where you breathe from. So if you have a pinched nerve at the fourth cervical, it can affect the phrenic nerve, which can affect the diaphragm. And if the stomach is pushing up against the diaphragm as well, that can lead to sleep apnea. Once again, getting to the cause of it, not just treating the symptoms. A lot of people use the CPAP machines to pump oxygen into their body. That'll treat the symptoms, but it doesn't fix anything. We want to get to the cause of your healthcare problems. I'm not saying that's your cause. I'm saying it's a cause. Oftentimes, when we fix that, the other problems go away. So, kind of throwing a bunch of stuff out at you here, but these are problems that people have as they get older, sometimes when they're younger too, and we have answers for them. And another thing is vitamin D deficiency. Studies have shown a link between vitamin D and cardiovascular disease. Now, it's been suggested that vitamin D can lower blood pressure, which of course is important, but high blood pressure is the leading risk of heart attack and stroke. So, and everybody should take vitamin D anyway. Now, the ideal scenario would be you get your vitamin D levels tested. Normally, 40 is about 40, how it's measured. Nanograms per milliliter is how it's measured. I recommend 60 to 80. I want your vitamin D levels higher than the recommended dose because at 60 to 80, the studies show that's when it becomes medicinal. It actually, you see health benefits from it as opposed to just keeping you stable. I don't want you to just survive. I want you to thrive. I don't want you to just get by. I want you to feel great. And I want you to be as healthy as you possibly can. And vitamin D is probably the cheapest insurance policy you'll ever buy. I personally take 5,000 international units a day. Now, if you go to my website, drjoe.com, in the store section, we have the vitamin D that I take. If you take vitamin D3, make sure you take vitamin K2 with it. Vitamin D3 helps you absorb calcium along with other things. Vitamin K2 drives the calcium into the bones so that you don't develop blood pressure problems because you're building up plaque in the arteries from the calcium. Following how this all ties together? Hey, folks, I'm going to have to go to a break. Don't go anywhere. We've got a lot more to cover. If you have any health questions, send them to me through the website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. I would love to answer your health questions. make an appointment to come see us. We can do it in person or virtually. You can do it right online, drjoe.com. Follow me on social media. We post tips every single day at Dr. Joe Esposito. And your podcast, go to your podcast service, Dr. Joe for the health of it. Dr. Joe for the health of it. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. I appreciate you being here. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back. Part 1. You have questions?
I have a few.
All right, I'll answer if you want me to.
This one brings up a question I have as well, but is slow cooking meats and vegetables in a crock pot a good idea?
Yes, if you're going to eat meat, which you shouldn't. But if you do, don't. But if you still do, you shouldn't. But if you still do, don't grill them. When you grill meat, you create something called heterocyclic amines and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. There's a big words there. Grilling meat makes the meat more carcinogenic. So if you slow cook the meats, it's a better choice. A better choice still is to add some rosemary when you're slow cooking it. And the rosemary has antioxidants in it, which helps prevent the carcinogenic compounds from forming. If you're going to do meat, organic only. That's the rule. Nothing but organic meat. Because when I was a kid, we didn't have steroids, chemicals, hormones, antibiotics, pesticides, herbicides, genetically modified food, glyphosate. That's what's in your meats right now. So if you're going to eat meat, organic only, or better yet, don't eat it. Vegetables fine in a slow cooker as well. Yeah. What else?
So just coming back from Mexico, knowing that the water is probably not up to my guts standard, there's always this term potable water.
Yes.
Just boiling water, though, is that not going to concentrate whatever isn't good?
Well, it will evaporate some of it and concentrate it, but what it's doing is killing off the viruses and germs
stuff.
and amoebas, yeah. So if it's an inorganic compound, like lead, for example, boiling isn't going to do a darn thing. So boiling is okay, but always be careful about the water you drink. That's why I have a whole house water filter. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because I'd always thought about, of course, bacteria, things like that. Of course, it's going to die if you get it to a high enough temperature, but if it's chlorine or if it's medications in the water.
The medication will concentrate. Chlorine will have vaporize, so it'll boil off the chlorine, which is good because it's a vapor. Yeah, but just be careful about the water you drink. I have a company. It's called PureLifeWaterGA.com. PureLifeWaterGA.com. That's the one who did my water filter, and you can call them and go to their website, tell them I sent you. I researched a lot, and they seem to do a pretty good job. So, what else?
All right. I have been diagnosed with arthritis in my hip. What can I do?
Arthritis is coming up in the second segment of the show, isn't it? Yes. Okay, if I get to it. Let's talk about arthritis for a second, though. Osteoarthritis is the bones out of place rubbing up against each other. There. For the first time in your life, you know why you have osteoarthritis. Nobody has ever told you that. All the orthopedists and the surgeons you went to and physical therapists, no one's ever said it's bones out of place rubbing up against each other. So arthritis in the hip, you need to put the bone back in place. And my team of doctors are really good at that. We also have a machine called an acoustic wave therapy machine. And it sends sound wave impulses into an area, and we use it a lot on hips and knees that are arthritic, and it causes the body to recruit stem cells, which can cause new generation of growth of new cells, grow new blood vessels, and oftentimes brings down the inflammation and breaks up scar tissue. So for you, I'd say come see us today or tomorrow, and let's get the bones back in place. Let's do the acoustic wave treatment. Let's get you on things like nitric oxide to increase circulation to the body, and let's see what we can do for that.
Now, does high blood pressure, even when treated by medication, lead to diabetes?
Not necessarily, but they're all interrelated. So it's not going to cause diabetes, but it can make diabetes worse. Everything can make everything worse if there's a health issue. So it's not going to cause diabetes, no. What else?
So I've got pain in my left hip, my knee, and my ankle joints. What could the reason be, and what can I do?
It's probably bones out of place, especially if it's just on one side. One side is usually osteoarthritis. If you have it throughout your whole body, it's usually rheumatoid arthritis, which is an autoimmune disease. So chiropractic care, acoustic wave therapy, and nutrition would be absolutely positively my portal of entry treatment for that. And in most cases, that's all you need. So come see us for that.
Lots of arthritis here. But now if I throw in sciatic nerve pain, what could you do for someone arthritic and with sciatic pain?
Well, the arthritis has probably caused the bones to move out of place. So the bones out of place have caused the arthritis, which pinched the nerve, which pinched the sciatic nerve, which caused the sciatic pain. So it's the same protocol. Put the bones back in place, acoustic wave therapy to stimulate new stem cell and growth in that area. And then we got to check the muscles too. It could be the piriformis muscle, it could be the gluteus medius muscle, it could be a lot of things. And then of course an anti-inflammatory diet. So sounds like you all need to come see me, man.
That's also why you should make sure that all of your tires in your car have the proper amount of air.
That's exactly right. If one of them is off, what happens? It throws the whole car out of alignment. And Garrett's exactly right. If one bone is out of place, it throws the whole body out of alignment. So, what else?
I think we can move on.
Nothing? That's it? That's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, everything? Okay.
That's it for right now.
Platforms that haven't been invented yet? Okay, good. All right, we're going to do part 2. If you're just joining us, please put in hashtag live. If you're listening on a replay, put in hashtag replay. And also type in where you're from. I like to see where folks are listening from. That's just for me. That's nothing else except for me. All right, we're going to do another 24 minutes, and then I'll answer some more questions. So if you have any questions, type them in while I'm talking. Okay, ready? Oh, here, glad you're with us today. If you're just tuning in, welcome. We're talking today about health problems that sneak up on you. And I talked about diabetes, and we talked about blood pressure. One thing I didn't mention about the blood pressure, because there's so much to cover, is that nitric oxide opens up the blood vessels. Now, as you get older, your nitric oxide levels drop. We talked about that. But you can take a supplement to help produce nitric oxide. I take it every single day. It's called Dr. Joe's Nitric Oxide Support, and it's absolutely one of my favorites. I take 4 a day. Now, I weigh about 190 pounds, so I take 4 a day. If you're littler, you can start with 2 a day. I take 4. But it's great because it increases circulation, helps your brain, helps sex function, helps energy level. It increases circulation to your whole body, so it's really kind of cool. But I love my nitric oxide. It's my 3rd favorite supplement. I'll tell you what the other 2 are coming up. Okay, so you can take them too. Why not? If I take them, you should take them. All right, so what we're talking about today are problems that sneak up on you. We're talking about heart disease, diabetes. I want to talk now about weight, because that's a big issue. And as you get older, it's a lot harder to lose weight, isn't it, folks? It really is. So one of the secrets to helping lose weight, and I used to be fat. When I was a kid, I was fat, so I can say the F word. Drink a lot more water. Many times you're not hungry, you're thirsty. Now, there's a part of your brain called the hypothalamus that controls hunger. And there's another part of your brain called the hypothalamus that controls thirst. There are 2 parts of the hypothalamus. As you get older, even toddler age, those 2 parts of the brain grow together. And when they grow together, you have a real tough time distinguishing between hunger and thirst. Many times, when you're hungry, or you're not hungry, you're thirsty. And so when was the last time you could actually say you were thirsty? You don't get thirsty. But if you ever raised kids, you know what it's like. Daddy, I want to drink. I want to drink. I want to drink. I want to drink. Take the sippy cup with you. Everywhere you go, got to make sure the sippy cup's there. I want to drink. Where can I get something to drink? Kids can determine between hunger and thirst. We old folks can't. And so that's why it's important to make sure you're drinking enough fluid. So here's my weight loss tip number 1. I want you to drink an 8 to 10 ounce glass of water before every meal. That's it. If you do nothing else but drink an 8 to 10 ounce glass of water before every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you'll be amazed how much less food you eat. Because the brain is going to say, you know what? I really wasn't hungry. I was thirsty. I got plenty of nutrients. Especially if you're overweight, you got plenty of stored energy. So the body's saying, nah, I really was thirsty. Why'd you give me that cake? I didn't want cake. I wanted water. Okay, so now you're going to give me a beer. That's a diuretic. No, that's worse. I'm going to have coffee. That's a diuretic. That's worse. Drink the water before every meal. Start that. You don't want to diet. You don't want to, Dr. Joe, I can't lose weight. I've tried every diet known to man. How about the water diet? Just drink and watch what happens. Number 2, the way the body, messing with your hypothalamus again. Your stomach, when you eat food, releases a hormone called leptin, Leptin. Leptin is released from your stomach, goes into your blood system, and goes up into your hypothalamus and says, you know what, Joe? I've got enough food. I'm full. And when a normal, healthy body and brain are working, it sends a message to my brain. My hypothalamus says I'm full, and I stop eating. It's perfect. As we get older, we ate a lot of food over our life. And so the body produces a lot of this leptin. And leptin keeps bombarding the hypothalamus. Stop eating, stop eating, stop eating, stop eating. And so what eventually happens is the hypothalamus doesn't listen to the brain, to the leptin anymore. It says, I don't believe you. You're up here so much, I'm not going to listen to you anymore, and I'm going to resist you. And it's called leptin resistance. So what that means is the brain is getting the leptin from the stomach, but it's not listening to it. And so that's why we stay hungry. Now, leptin's also released from fat cells. So if we're fat, we're releasing a lot of leptin, bombarding the hypothalamus, and the hypothalamus says, I'm not going to listen to you guys anymore. It's the boy that cried wolf. I'm not going to listen to you anymore. And that's why you eat so much. So my trick to reset the hypothalamus and the leptin receptors is I want you to eat a snack before every meal. So mommy said, don't eat, you're going to ruin your appetite. Mommy was wrong. I want you to ruin your appetite. So you can take a third of your meal, whatever it is, or just have a handful of nuts or an avocado, whatever it is. Have a snack 20 minutes before your meal. Drink your water. You're going to eat so much less food. You're going to save so much money. And you're probably going to lose so much weight because all you had to do was basically hack your hypothalamus. Actually, not hack it, just have it do its job the way it's supposed to. So watch what happens if you do that. So a snack 20 minutes before every meal, or just a piece of your meal. It's fine. It doesn't have to be a special snack. I'm going to have a third of my whatever you're going to have. Soup. Drink a big glass of water. Wait 20 minutes. Watch what happens. We're resetting the body, and it works really well in most cases. Another thing I want you to do to lose weight is cut out your artificial sweeteners. Now, even though they have no calories, many, many large-scale studies have been done on artificial sweetener, and there's a positive correlation between artificial sweetener use and weight gain. So if you have to use a sweetener, we have things like stevia, Lohan, xylitol. Use them in small amounts. Don't overdo them. And the nice part is you don't have to overdo them because they're so sweet. Stevia, pure stevia, is 300 times sweeter than sugar. So if you use a packet of sugar, you can use 1/300th of that amount of stevia to get the same sweetener. So try to do organic, of course, if you can, and get away from those artificial sweeteners, folks. If there's one thing that I can beg you to do is cut out the artificial sweetener. If you've listened to my lectures and talks before, you know I talk about 7 foods I want you to cut out of your diet, or at least cut back. And those would be alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. Now, a lot of you just rolled your eyes at me, like some of my patients do. Had one this week. High blood pressure, diabetes, erectile dysfunction, overweight, urinary incontinence, bowel incontinence. I mean, the guy was just a mess. And I said, I want you to do something for 60 days. I want you to cut out alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. And he looked at me like I just slapped his child. He looked at me like, are you kidding? I was like, no, I'm not kidding. And I didn't say that, of course. And I said, I understand this sounds like a lot. He goes, that's my whole diet. Well, that's why you have high blood pressure, diabetes, urinary incontinence, erectile dysfunction, bladder incontinence. I mean, there's a reason why the guy's sick. He's not that old. He was only 60 years old. So I said, what can you do? So we went through each one of them, and he's willing to cut out the artificial sweetener. And he's willing to cut back on his coffee, at least do organic coffee. And he's willing to eat a salad every day. All right, hey, you know what? I'll take it. I'll take what I can. But the more you do what I say, the healthier you're going to be in most cases. It's not a secret, folks. I'm not making this stuff up. I know it works. If eating meatball sandwiches was better, I would tell you to eat meatball sandwiches. Why? Because I miss meatball sandwiches. I haven't had one in 38 years. And I'm Italian. That's tough for me. So it's not worth it. As people get on with their lives and they come to me as a patient, they say, Dr. Joe, I wish I'd listened to you sooner. I've been following you for 40 years now. I've read your books. I've taken your supplements. I've listened to your lectures. I heard you lecture years ago. I had one kid one time at high school. I was 24 years old, a lot older than that now. And he remembered me from a lecture I gave him in high school. And he came to me as a patient. And he says, I can't believe you're still in practice. I said, yeah, I'm going to be here for a while. He said, you told me that artificial sweeteners cause headaches. And I suffered from headaches. I couldn't play sports. I couldn't be in a band. I couldn't date. He says, high school years were horrible because I had headaches every single day. And he said, I heard you talk, and I said, I'm willing to do this because what do I got to lose? And he looked at me and he says, I haven't had a headache since. He says, you changed my life in that one lecture you gave me in high school when you were 24 years old. I said, that's pretty cool, isn't it? So try what I'm saying. And if it doesn't work, so what? It doesn't work. But if it works, which it does, then you'll say, I can do this. So I talk about alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. I call them the 7 deadly sins of nutrition. Try cutting back. See what happens. If I'm wrong, go back to the way you used to eat. I can't tell you what to eat, what not to eat. I can just advise you. I can't monitor you. But trust me when I say this stuff works. If it doesn't work, I wouldn't be teaching it, because I'm my first patient. I do this for myself. And by the way, I'll teach to you too. But I'm doing it for me. And if it didn't work, if there was a better way to do things, I would do it, because I research every single day. I want to give you the best things I can. So if you're just tuning in, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. What we're talking about today are health problems that sneak up on you. Now, if you have health problems, let me put my little comment in here. I'd love to have you as a patient. If you'd like for me and my team of doctors to be your doctors, wouldn't that be cool? Checking your spine, checking your nervous system, checking your digestive system, looking at your diet, things that nobody else probably has ever even mentioned, much less done. Come see us. Go to my website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. We have offices in the Atlanta area, Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. We want to be your doctors. We can get you an appointment this week. We have appointments available in all our offices every week. I leave time open for new patients in every office. So drjoe.com, you can book it right online. We accept people, almost all insurances. If you don't have insurance, that's fine. A lot of our patients are cash patients. We have payment plans available, interest-free payment plans. We will do everything we can, within reason, to get you the care that you need. So drjoe.com. Normally the first visit is $940. We've reduced that to $299. So go to the website right now. Also on the website, you can search problems. Go to the search bar and type in what you're looking for. Maybe it's high blood pressure, maybe it's diabetes, men's health, women's health, weight loss, sports injuries, whatever it is. We have over 4,000 hours of content on my website. Oh, by the way, the cost to search my website, it's my gift to you. It's absolutely free. So drjoe.com, search the website. Send me any questions you have. Just type, there's a little bot that pops up. Send me your questions. I'm happy to answer your questions for you. So drjoe.com, great place to get good information. I'll answer your questions for you, make an appointment. All the supplements we talk about are on the website, drjoe.com. It's a very user-friendly, easy place for you to get well and stay well. So I'll continue on. We're talking today about health problems that sneak up on you. And one of the big questions I get pretty much every hour, I was going to say every day, but every hour, I have arthritis, Dr. Joe. And I was told that I can take shots for it. We can do cortisone shots. We can shut down your immune system, bring down the inflammation. Absolutely an excellent way to get rid of pain for arthritis. Doesn't fix anything, but it might help with the pain. The problem with that is you can only do, ethically, 3 injections in one area of the body in a lifetime. So let's assume I have neck arthritis, and I go and I get 3 injections in my neck. I'm done. Now what do? Didn't fix anything. And also steroids, and I'm not against steroid use, but steroids can weaken your immune system. It shuts down your reaction, your inflammatory reaction. And so what happens now if cold and flu viruses come along? And my immune system isn't quite as strong as it should be. Now I'm more susceptible, aren't I? Could be. I don't know. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. Maybe you have an amazing immune system. But I'd rather get to the cause of the problem, not just treat the symptoms. Now, there's 2 types of arthritis, rheumatoid and osteo. Osteoarthritis is mechanical. What that means is bones are out of place rubbing up against each other. So if the tires on my car are out of alignment, what's the first thing I do? Put them back in alignment. It's not hard to figure that one out. It's not a tough question. Yet when bones in the body are out of place, very seldom do people think I should put the bones back in place. And arthritis, if it's caused by bones that are out of place, I guarantee you is going to get worse. Promise you. Promise. That's the only promise I'll make you in healthcare. That if you have bones out of place, the problem's going to get worse. It can't heal itself unless you put the bone back in place. So, step number 1, osteoarthritis, mechanical problem. Rheumatoid arthritis, autoimmune disease. The body is attacking itself. If you have one autoimmune disease, chances are you're going to get more. Rheumatoid arthritis. You can get other things. The thyroid issues can be an autoimmune disease. The body can start attacking itself and affect the immune system. So, there's a protocol I've put together, and if you go to my website, drjoe.com, and just type in autoimmunity, I have a whole show on that. I want to make this whole show about that. We talk about stabilizing the immune system. I don't want to stimulate it. It's already high. It's already attacking itself. I don't want to suppress it. I want to stabilize it. So drjoe.com, just type in autoimmunity. Type in anything you want, really. Chances are we've done a show on it. But either way, rheumatoid arthritis can cause inflammation, which causes the bones to move out of place, which cause them to rub against each other. So it could be rheumatoid always has a mechanical component. Osteo always is mechanical. So put the bones back in place. That's where chiropractic care comes in. When it comes to neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, or any type of spinal pain, chiropractic care, most effective, least expensive treatment in the country. Why wouldn't you do the most effective, least expensive treatment on anything? If it's a scratch on your car, do the most effective, least expensive treatment. When it comes to healthcare, that's what chiropractic comes in. So if you have pain, come see us. Let's see if you're a candidate for our treatment. You may not be. And if you are, let's put together a protocol to try to get this thing resolved. So always put the bones back in place. Other things to do arthritis. Both types do well on an anti-inflammatory diet. So I suggest you limit the 7 deadly sins: alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. You eat more fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. And also losing weight. If you have arthritis and you're overweight, for every pound of weight you lose, you remove 6 pounds of pressure off your hips. 1 pound equates to 6 pounds of pressure on the hips. So why wouldn't you want to lose that pound? Now, like I said, I used to be fat. It's hard to lose weight. I'm not going to lie to you. But the good news is that there's a protocol. If you go to our website, just type in weight loss. We've done shows on it. But what I like to do is start my people out on what we call a 21-day protocol. And a 21-day protocol does a lot of things. Number one, it helps clean out your liver. Number two, it helps reset the hypothalamus so that you can not have these crazy cravings around sugar. And then number three, it helps you lose weight. So, again, if you have any questions about any of this, I know I talk fast, send it to me through the website, drjoe.com. Happy to answer your questions for you. So we talked about obesity. We talked about arthritis. Osteoporosis is another condition that sneaks up on you. If you're just tuning in, folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, and we're going over health problems that sneak up on you. Osteoporosis, that's thinning of the bones. The bones become thin and weak. About half of women over 50 and up to 25% of men over 50 break bones because they lost some of the strength in the bone. Half of people over 50. Now, their bodies haven't replaced the nutrients or the minerals that they've lost. A couple of things can help. Number one, eating a good diet. When it comes to osteoporosis, it may not be that you need calcium. And in fact, I've been doing this for a long time. And I've yet to see anyone with osteoporosis ever rebuild their bones by taking calcium. It's never happened. And yet, what's the number one recommended treatment if you have osteoporosis? Take calcium. Doesn't work. Never works. So what we have to do is stop losing all the nutrients. Stop losing the calcium from the bones. You had it when you were young. Where'd it go? It's usually, not always, could be hormonal, but it's usually due to an acid diet. If you eat a lot of acid foods, alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweetener, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, the body is taking calcium from the bones and neutralizing the acid in your blood. Calcium is a neutralizing agent. So what we have to do is stop stealing the calcium from the bones. Very simple. Number two, you have to make sure you have enough vitamin K2 in your diet. If you're eating a good diet, you have plenty of calcium. Vitamin D3 and other things can help you absorb the calcium. Vitamin K2 drives it into the bones. So you can take a vitamin K2 supplement along with your vitamin D3. And on my website, drjoe.com, that's what we have. But if you're eating a good amount of fruits and vegetables, A, you're getting plenty of calcium, and B, you're getting plenty of K1, which converts into K2. And so you're getting plenty of K2. I've been in practice a long time. I have never seen somebody on a plant-based diet ever have osteoporosis, ever. I've looked at hundreds of thousands of x-rays in my career. I've never seen anyone with osteoporosis ever on a plant-based diet ever have that. So maybe there's a correlation. There is, by the way. So do that, make sure. Now, if your body is too acidic, you want to alkalize the system. How do you alkalize the system? Well, you do that by eating alkaline foods, foods that are high in minerals, things like fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds. Years ago, when I first got into this weird world that I'm in here, this happy world, I should say, I said, if I can only come across a supplement that really had the fruits and vegetables in it, the prebiotics, the probiotics, digestive enzymes, all the minimum amount of multivitamin that you need, I would take that every day. And so I didn't find it on the market anywhere, so I invented it. And so it's called Dr. Joe's Essential Source. Now, it's a powder, and you take a scoop of it a day. You can take more if you want to. But it's very alkalizing to the system. We also pair that with something called Dr. Joe's Super Greens. Now, Dr. Joe's Super Greens has wheatgrass, barley grass, alfalfa grass, chlorella, spirulina, dulse, seaweed to give you omega-3 fatty acids in it. And when you put those two together, and I take a scoop of each, and I shake it up with either coconut milk, almond milk, water, mix it with some frozen bananas in a blender sometimes if I want to get crazy. I can't imagine a day going by without taking that combination at least once a day. Now, when I have my bone mass tested, I have the bone mass of somebody half my age. I have the brain function of somebody less than half my age. My biological age is less than half. One of the secrets that I have, and people ask me all the time. In fact, I hired a recent staff member, and she didn't believe me when I told her how old I was. Because, I'm laughing because she's in a room with me here. Because I take Super Greens and Essential Source as part of my protocol. And I think you should too. Now, all the supplements we talk about, Super Green, Essential Source, omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D, and a bunch of other ones are on the website, drjoe.com. So if you order the supplements, we'll ship them that either the same day or the next business day. If you're in the Atlanta area, Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and Westcott, come by the office and pick it up. It'll save you shipping costs. I'm happy to not pay the post office. I'm happy to put the money back in your pocket. It's the cheapest insurance policy you'll ever buy is eating good foods and taking quality supplements. So drjoe.com, you could order them there. Again, if you have any questions, send them to me through the website, drjoe.com. Happy to answer your questions for you. But the most important thing you can do right now is make an appointment to come see us. Let's check your nervous system. Let's check your digestive system. Let's look at your diet. Let's see if you need any supplements. Let's see if you're eating good foods, bad foods. We'll do all of that for you as part of your treatment as a patient here. I don't know of anywhere else in the world that offers that whole package like we do. drjoe.com. I want to be a doctor. All right, other things that can sneak up on you. How about hearing loss? Now, I grew up in the 70s, and we went to a lot of discos, went to a lot of headbanging music. I stood in front of a lot of speakers and concerts. And physically, you can damage your ear. And I probably did because I had a hearing test about a year ago. And the doctor said, you have really good hearing, except you've lost high pitch in your left ear, low pitch. I don't remember what it was. And she looked at me and she said, been to a lot of concerts? I said, yeah, in my day, the old discos. And she said, yeah, that's probably what did it. She goes, don't do that anymore. So now when I go to concerts, I actually carry earplugs with me. And I plug them in. And if I have a song I like, I might take it out so I hear it perfectly. And I put the earplugs back in. But I want to protect my hearing. Now, what's interesting, my father was deaf, by the way. My father had a horrible accident before I was born. Fell off a ladder, broke his back, fractured his skull, went deaf immediately. He's dead now. No one knows why he went deaf. He lived a very long life after that. But I could not figure out why he was deaf. And it's one of the things that led me into being a chiropractor, a natural doctor, because I wanted to bring back his hearing because I heard a story. And the story was on September 18th, 1895, there was a man named D.D. Palmer. He was the founder of chiropractic. And his janitor, Harvey Lillard, was deaf. He had lost his hearing, and he'd lift up a box, felt his neck pop, and lost a lot of hearing in his neck, in his ears. So Dr. Palmer thought, well, if he popped his neck and he went deaf, what if I unpop his neck? Would he hear again? And he laid him down on a bench, as the story goes, and he pushed on his back, and he heard the bones pop, and Harvey heard the carriages of the horses in the street in Davenport, Iowa. Brought his hearing back. Now, in my career, I've brought 2 people's hearing back. It was due to pinched nerves. I've had my father and 2 others that I couldn't bring their hearing back. So it doesn't always work, but pinched nerves can actually cause hearing loss. And so that's another reason why you want to get your spine checked. So that's kind of just a fun little story for you, too. Vision problems sneak up on you. I know that. I have macular degeneration. I was told about 10 years ago I was going to go blind. I'd be blind by now. There's nothing you can do about it. Go to my website, drjoe.com, type in macular degeneration. I'll tell you my story, what I did to not only stop the degeneration, but my macular degeneration continues to get better, which is impossible, by the way, according to my eye doctor. Now, folks, I'm almost out of time. If you have any questions, we had a lot more to cover. Go to my website, drjoe.com, type in anything you're looking for in the search bar, send me your questions, make an appointment to come see us, order the supplements that we talked about Folks, again, it's the cheapest insurance policy you'll ever buy. Go to your social media. Follow me at Dr. Joe Esposito. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We post every single day. We post health tips. If you like this show, you're going to get health tips every single day. And on your podcast service, it's Dr. Joe for the health of it. Dr. Joe for the health of it. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. I'll catch you next time. Bam. Anybody out there? Anybody listening?
There's a little bit going on.
Okay.
Can exercise help prevent arthritis?
It can help prevent it. It can also cause it. Because if you have bones out of place and you're exercising, you're building up strong muscles around crooked bones. If you have bones in place, you're building up strong muscles around straight bones. So exercise can either help build strong bones, but when they say if you have osteoporosis and arthritis, exercise, it builds up bone mass, it could make the problem worse. So, yeah, get it aligned and then work out.
I was hoping for a use it or lose it.
Yeah, okay. Nice try. Garrett's known me, I don't know how many years, and he's usually good at predicting what I'm going to say. So.
What are some good exercises to help you wake up in the morning?
Cross crawl. What I want you to do is you can stand up. I don't know if can I stay in camera here, Garrett? Am I still in camera? Okay. I want you to bring your right arm to your left leg, left arm to your right leg. Right arm to your left leg, left arm to your right leg. I want you to do that 10 times. Okay? It'll take about 10 seconds. If you can do it 20 times, do it 20 times. If you can do it 30 times, do it 30 times. But if you do a cross crawl even 10 times and do it several times throughout the morning, chances are you'll cut out your coffee. And you reset your brain too.
My favorite for the mornings is actually just the countdown method. It only works if you stay true to it.
Okay.
100% of the time.
Uh-huh.
And then it will work 100% of the time.
And what is the countdown method? Why don't you share with us?
You just count down. I count down from 3, and when I get to 0, I have to get up.
Oh, yeah. Mel Robbins always talked about that too, yeah.
Yep.
If you say, I got to get out of bed, I've got to get this project done, you count down, and once you hit 1, you get up and do it. Yeah. So, good call.
But you have to do it 100% of the time.
Right. You can't lay in bed.
If you do it 100% of the time, it works 100% of the time.
Because your brain knows when you got to 1, you're serious.
Yeah.
Your brain, you're not jerking around. So, good. What else?
Is the acai berry healthy?
Acai, yeah, it's fine. Acai berries are good. Mm-hmm.
And are there any foods that are good for the prostate?
Go to my website, drjoe.com, and type in men's health. Plant-based diet is absolutely positively imperative for us old guys. Because us old guys are going to get swelling of the prostate. It happens to all of us. Nobody is immune to it. But making sure you keep your body alkaline, Dr. Joe Super Greens, Dr. Joe Essential Source, fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds. You can do Kegels, where you squeeze like you're trying to hold your urine in, and do that do it constantly. Do it 10, 15 times every hour or two. And even when you pee a little bit, stop, pee a little bit, stop. That builds up the muscles. And the other thing with the prostate, it's not a joke. You got to use it or lose it. And so if you're not using your prostate, in a romantic sense, the prostate can actually get more swollen and cause more problems. So there's a lot of things. In fact, if you have erectile dysfunction, which oftentimes is due to swollen prostate, we have a whole protocol we have here at the office, and we use acoustic wave therapy, and we send sound waves into the genitals, and it causes the body to grow new blood vessels. It stimulates growth, and it also can help with the prostate as well to break up any swelling in the prostate. And then we get you on nitric oxide support. We get you on men's hormone support. We have a pump that you can use at home that can now actually, you exercise, so to speak. You pump up and trying to keep it clean here, but pump blood into the area and then release it, pump blood into the area and release it. So there's a whole protocol we do for men with ED to get to the cause of the problem, not just treat the symptom. And that can help the prostate too.
So there is a use it or lose it.
There is a use it or lose it there. Absolutely, yes.
That's all for today.
Okay, great, guys. Folks, I appreciate you. If you're listening live, put in hashtag live. Listening as a replay, put in hashtag replay. Type in where you're from, which I would appreciate that as well. And any questions, drjoe.com. But best thing, just come see us. I hope to see each and every one of you this week, either in person or virtually. And I'll see you next week, definitely here.